Okay, so we're learning about finding angles when two lines intersect. Now, there are two types of, when you have two lines, you can say that they are either, there's a P word here, parallel. Parallel, of course, meaning that the two lines will never meet. They'll never touch. If you say that two lines intersect, that means that they do touch. In fact, they cross over, like this. So here we have two lines, and they are crossing over, and they intersect just here. That is the intersection. Now we want to find out the angles around an intersection. So that's what we're learning about, finding the angles around an intersection. So let's make a line, and then let's draw a line that intersects through it, just there. Beautiful. Now, a little hint, when two angles are opposite, okay, so this angle here and this angle here, they're going to be the same. They're going to be exactly the same angle. You can probably see that. They definitely look very similar because they're going to be exactly the same. Which means that these two angles, which are opposite, okay, opposite each other, opposite sort of being like a mirror image, what you would see on the other side. So if we have like a line through the middle here, what's opposite? What's opposite? They're going to be exactly the same. So let's call these, let's label these. Let's call this one A, let's call this one B, let's call this one C, let's call this one D. A, B, C, D. Now we know from our previous learning on supplementary angles that, of course, I'll draw it over here, when you have a straight line, it's 180 degrees. Always. 180 degrees. So if you have a straight line, and it's always 180 degrees, and we have a straight line here, so we know that D plus A all together, draw a little one on the inside, D plus A equals 180 degrees. Okay, easy enough. Now, let's say that we know that A equals, let's say it's about 150 degrees. I could measure it, but I won't. So let's say it's 150 degrees. We know that if we have 180, okay, so we have 180 there, and we take off 150, then we're left with D. That'll tell us what D is, what's left over here, which of course is 30 degrees. Because 180 minus or take away 150 is 30 degrees. Now, if we know, now we know that D equals 30, so we'll write 30 degrees is D. Now, if we know that opposite angles are always the same, we know that D is the same as B. So we now know that B is 30 degrees. And we also know that 150 degrees of A, okay, the opposite angle is going to be the same, so C is also going to be 150 degrees. And you can get your calculator and you can check that all of these angles, they all need to add up to 360, because in a total rotation, in a complete rotation, so say we started here and went all the way around, okay, then you're going to have 360 degrees. So if all of our angles add up to 360, we know we're right. So we have 150 plus 150 plus 30, oops, I'll write it under the 5s, plus 30. We know that altogether that equals 10, 13, 16, carry the 1, 1, 2, 3, 360. So we're right, or you can check with the calculator. So here we've learned that opposite angles are always the same, and we've also used our knowledge of supplementary angles to be able to figure out that if we know one angle, we can figure out the one next to it, the supplementary angle, and if we can figure out the supplementary angle, then we can figure out the opposite angle, okay? So in this way, we figure out all the angles around this line.